Hello everybody, welcome to another weekly analysis for F45 trading or future 45 trade signals. Just going to talk about a couple of things briefly here for the weekly look ahead on the US dollar, the pound dollar, Bitcoin, Ethereum, crude oil, and I've got one trade that I'm looking at here in terms of commodities on orange juice, so we'll just run through that real quickly. Definitely not going to make this a long session because there's really not a lot to talk about for the week of Monday, March 12th to the 16th, Friday the 16th. So we'll get after it. There are definitely a few levels that interest us, but before we get into that, let's just talk about this real quickly here and get this out of the way. Our economic calendar, not a whole lot of activity happening on Monday. So this video is coming out Sunday evening before, well, markets just opened a few hours ago, but the actual market activity hasn't really hit yet, obviously, until London Open on Monday morning, which is a couple hours away from now. But not really much happening Monday in terms of volatility being injected into the market. The markets could still swing, as they normally do, and move like they normally do. But there is definitely a lack of economic drivers to be the catalyst for any of that movement, other than the Aussie dollar, which I can run through quickly. But it more so comes in on Tuesday and Wednesday. You've got a number of high impact economic drivers for the US dollar, and one for the pound sterling and one for the Canadian dollar here. And then Wednesday, Draghi speaks for the euro. So definitely a couple of movers. I definitely think that just with this, and I don't know how much the annual budget release is really going to drive the pound dollar, but we can definitely look at some levels on this one here for Tuesday. But I think what will happen in terms of days to trade, it'll be Tuesday the trade will be on the pound dollar, and Wednesday the trade will be on the euro USD. And again, there's a number of economic drivers for the US dollar after that. Crude inventories, of course, on Wednesday, and then a number of medium impact on Thursday could push the market around a little bit. It's probably not too much, but it might do a few things, with these unemployment claims and things like that. But and then a number of news items for the Canadian dollar on Friday, and again a number of U.S. drivers on Friday. So it should be a good week of trading, but nothing. We're not going to see fireworks start to happen until the Tuesday trading session. So with that being said, let's jump into the charts here real quick. Again, I don't want to make this a very long session. I want to wrap up here in about 10 minutes because there's a couple of levels that we're looking at here, and it's just basically going to be a wait and see if those levels actually pan out. So the dollar index, as you can see, we've been on the continual slide down, and with a brief pause down here where price came down, double tapped, ran the liquidity, and basically just grabbed the stops out of the market and then ran back up, and now we're just kind of sitting right almost in the 50% range, a little bit higher than the 50% range of this overall consolidation that we're in right here. We were forecasting last week for price to run above these highs. It did that, and it actually, I'll get rid of these data bars so you can see it a bit better. But you can actually see price even ran up into here and just grabbed the liquidity rate that was resting right above this old consolidation range in here, rejected and traded softer. Now I was looking for price to come down to one of two levels. It hit the first level. It actually didn't get quite down to this 89.30 level. It actually got down to 89.33. Price rejected and then traded higher, and then Friday traded softer. Friday was basically just kind of like a doji day. It didn't really do anything, created the same size wick below as it did above, and just sort of finished right in the middle. And then now Sunday's candle has opened, and we're starting to trade south now. So I think what we could see happening, I'll just drive down to a little, before I go down to it, I guess what I think we're going to see for the week to start is price trade lower onto down to the candle high here, and I'll refine this here in a second, and then bounce off that. We're looking for a bounce off of this level in here, and then to trade higher, and I'd like to see price get above this short-term high here, and then above ultimately this higher, and then start to trade up into this liquidity, or this down candle in here, and then straight into this consolidation area right there, ultimately taking the liquidity out above here if it does have a bullish enough ideas behind it, then we could get above that. But it's taken a number of weeks since January, into January, to get up to here. So to get above there, I mean, those are fairly lofty goals. We could be April, May before that ever happens. But I think that's where we could be headed. And you can see we're starting to create higher lows so far. If this low gets breached, then we'll be looking at this level down here to get taken out. And then we'll see where price wants to go from there. So here's the next level, 88.90, basically somewhere in there, in around there. This candle's high. So let's just drive down here a little bit. I think what we're going to see for the short term here is price come down and just tag off into somewhere in this area right here where I have this box shown here, below those lows here. And I kind of feel like this 89.90 level where I have this line could be a spot where it might start to have some support, and hopefully price would then key off and go higher. But again, we could trade lower. Now what will negate that is if price comes down and trades lower than this low here. You see this low comes in at 89.33. If price comes down lower than that, or lower than this one here, actually that's a better candle because it's more recent. 89.40. If price starts to go lower than that, then we're going to go down to here, and then like I say, we're going to start trading down below and into here, so we'll watch for that. Ultimately, there is liquidity resting down here, but I think if they do want to grab it, it would just be more of a run down to here, and then we'd see a bounce if they want to drive it that far. Or like I said, the next logical point would be kind of right into this 89.90 level that I have marked out here. Price stab down, and it could go all the way down into here. There's a level kind of at the tops of these candles that I'd be very interested in at 89.80. So that could be another target. So somewhere in that 89.90 to 89.80, we'd be looking for a bounce and then a continuation higher. And I have these levels above this high right here that I'm earmarking right now that I think price will want to run up to. And I'll just put a level on those now. So 90.33 and 90 up to 90.50, and that would be sort of what the target is for the week. So this is what I'm anticipating happen. I think Monday or Tuesday will create the low of the week, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we'll trade up, and that would be my target on the week, is for price to hit up into this high here and potentially even higher of a range. So that's what I'm looking at. So if we are looking at short-term bearishness, long-term bullishness for the week, we are looking at the opposite for the Euro USD and the pound dollar. Now just real quick, I just want to discuss the Euro pound real quickly. We've had some nice rejection off of these levels here, and price has since started to drop. Now this is actually going to signify strength on the pound dollar. If the Euro GBP is running down, the pound dollar will typically be running up. But we're going to have to wait and see, because it is starting to come into an area of support in here. So it may want to take prices higher. We won't know though until it comes and trades a little bit more into the week. But we are looking for bullish moves higher on this. Pound dollar. What I would like to see on the pound dollar, now you see this green shaded area in here. This is the target I've been looking for a while here. It probably won't give it to us this week again. I've been faked out on this a couple of times, thinking it's going to start trading into here, and what I'm looking at in here is a bounce, and this is where I'd be getting long. What would negate that is if price trades down below this consolidation level here and it breaks this low here, then we'll be looking for lower prices. But this is the area where I want to see price stall and potentially get in for a long, a bounce higher. I mean much higher. I'm talking these highs here long term, but we may not see that for a little bit yet. Now short term, you see I have these levels up here marked. These are a bunch of equal highs in here. I think ultimately this will be a target on for liquidity to or for price to run up and soak up the liquidity above here before it can go lower. And so what that would equate to is if the US dollar does this drop that I'm anticipating into here, the pound dollar would then in tandem run higher grab the liquidity here, and if we do see rejection on the US dollar, again, we'll just flip back to this chart quick. If we see rejection down here at this level, then we will see the equal rejection ensue up here, and then we can look for lower prices. This short term is where I believe price is heading, and when I say short term, I'd say for the rest of March, somewhere down into this neck of the woods down here, and then I would like to see price trade higher from there. But not until we get down to here. I don't think this is going to be the low here. I think it's going to want to come down and drive down one more time lower into here and then start trading. And we'll see how that pans out, but I think before it gets down there, like I say, I think we're going to run up, soak up the liquidity, grab the buy stops above the highs here, and then we'll look to trade lower. So if price gives us this, going back to that economic calendar, we have some news on Tuesday. What I'd like to see is price start to run higher here into Monday, and then Tuesday that news event comes out, pops it up, and then drops it. That's sort of the action that I'd like to see. So we'll see if that pans out, and if that does happen, I will be putting a signal out for price, and it also is a nice big figure area number as well too. I would expect price to sweep the highs by about. So the highs come into here, we'll say at, we'll just use that candle high there. So 39.10 we'll say. I would permit price to run up to 39.30, maybe 39.40 at the very highest for a stop run. That would kind of bring us to this old high up here, and then I would want to see rejection ensue from there. If price goes higher than that 39.50, then we will be looking at price up into, it actually comes into a nice little area in here. We will be looking for price to go higher if it goes through that 39.50, but we'll see the reaction, and what I'd like to see is basically a wick, a candle drive up there and reject as fast as it goes up, and if that happens, then like I say, then we'll be looking for lower prices. So that's what I'll be watching on Tuesday. If you are a member, you will be getting that signal direct to your phone via Telegram or instant message service that notifies all of our members of our trades as they happen, when they happen, so you don't ever have to miss a trade or sit in front of your charts, which is great. By the way, guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you sign up and subscribe to us at Future 45 Trade Signals on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. You get notification of all when we go live of all of our live trading sessions throughout the week on those two platforms. And if you want, you can sign up for 14 days for free and check our services out. You can find out how we're doing and the positions that we take throughout the week, and see if it matches with your style of trading. And you can find that out at f45trading.com, where you can sign up for free for 14 days and do a little trial version with us. So anyway, that shameless marketing ploy out of the way, let's move on. So that's the pound dollar we're looking at. There is some news on the US CAD that we are looking at here for, there's some news on Tuesday, but more so towards Friday as well too. So I think we're going to see the same sort of thing happen. Price come down to here, and then I'd like to see it resume its bullish trend higher, but definitely want to see some pullback. I mentioned this last Sunday when I did my last video. So this was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday's candle here, and this was Friday's close. I said I do not want to buy the US CAD up in this area here because its price is way too overstretched. It needs to relax a bit, come back down, pick up some orders below the market, and then trade higher. And I think that's what we're going to get. I'd like to see price tag off somewhere in these lows in here to get in for a long. And this, again, only if price is confirmed on the US dollar, okay? So if the US dollar keeps plunging and it goes below the areas that I was talking about before, then this trade is no good, no bueno. You do not want to trade this long if the US dollar is sinking, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now this has definitely shown some bullish tendencies going forward here, and I would expect that to continue. And I have these levels earmarked up here that I think are going to be the target for you know, the next few weeks of trading. So we'll watch for that. Bitcoin. Go to a daily view on Bitcoin. I think price will trade higher. They've been leaving this area of price alone for quite some time now, and I think they're going to eventually grab it. I wanted price, when it was ripping down here, to trade off and to tee off of this level here. It failed to do that. Traded one more time, failure swing, and traded down into it. But you look where the body of this candle stopped, right off the high of that candle. That's the kind of stuff that we look for, and I believe we will be getting long on Bitcoin, and I think this is going to be our target here. What will negate that is if price breaks this line that I have right here. So that is basically 89, you can call it 89.50. If price wants to reject and go through that level and close below there, we are going to be going lower, so there won't be any longs. But price just recently gapped on the Sunday open. Price is gapped up. What I would expect is price to trade down, tee off of somewhere in here, and then to trade higher. So I will be watching that. If we do get this gap fill, we will be watching price trade higher, and this 1050 would be the first level on my radar for a target. Basically taking out the highs here, and just somewhere in this green shaded area, that would be the target going forward. And then you can kind of see I marked out in here how price has just kind of been, hasn't really come up to grab the liquidity all that much above the previous highs, which means they're stopped sitting above all of these levels. And I think they're going to start targeting that here this week. So I would expect price to trade higher this week in Bitcoin. And again, ultimately for that 1200 level right above here is where I would think that they'd want to be taking that. Now, what is going to, again, negate that is if we start trading lower. If we take out these lows here, then they're going to be gunning for these lows, and if they go drive lower than that, and you got to watch, it could be a double tap where they drop it down once quick and then reject, or if they go lower and close lower than here. That's what I was talking about on the daily. The close is lower than that low right there, and then we will start to see price sink and drop, and they'll leave these alone here for a little while. But for this week, I'd like to see price run up into here and see what price does up there, and then we'd be looking for price to resume lower if that's what they want to do. But I think short term for the week, we are going to be going higher. Ethereum, not much difference there. There's definitely some areas. You see these two lows right here, those two equal lows, that would be the target, a great target for the week. Or early on in the week for them to hit, but again, they had the same gap, so I'd like to see them trade off that gap and then run higher, and then this would kind of be the first target for Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and ultimately, you know, the highs up in here that I had mentioned before. So that's what I think that's going to do. It's going to pretty much follow lockstep with Bitcoin. Crude oil, real quickly on crude oil, we have been seeing a sell-off in crude, and I have an area down here at 59.70 marked that I think they may want to get down to, and maybe even a little bit lower. So I would expect crude to start selling off and to be running down early in the week until crude oil numbers come out on Wednesday. I have the 61.35 area marked. Where if we start to see reaction and a bounce at 61.35, then it's going to start running higher up to the 64 highs up here, and we'll be getting long. But if price starts to sneak down past that, we'll be looking at an area at about 60.80 to see some willingness to for support to take over and to see prices go higher. I am bullish crude oil, but I think we are short-term bearish tendencies starting to come into play, and we could see prices run a bit lower again down to this 59.70 to 59 kind of 30 range would sort of be where I'd be looking for prices to come into the week if we break this candle in here. If this candle goes, then the prices will sink lower, and this short-term bearish trend that I was talking about kind of from this candle high down, right, will play into effect. But I do think they will sink it down on Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday of the week. Could drop a bit lower, but ultimately, if we do see a bounce, we'll be looking for this high here to get taken out, and that comes in at 64.20. So we'll watch for that. I'll be watching crude oil as it starts to slowly sink down, and you can see it's been pretty much going sideways for Sunday's candle here so far. So I'd like to see him bring it back down again here. Pretty much this consolidation high right in here, and see some kind of bounce and then run higher. So if it trades through lower than that, then we'll be going lower than those lows, these lows down here. And there was only one commodity trade that I was looking at, and that is orange juice. We did see, I'll just break this down real quickly here. So orange juice is coming into a bearish seasonality for, a bullish seasonality for March to mid-March. So we're getting pretty close to those numbers here. If we're going to see any more bullishness happen on this pair, it's going to have to happen pretty soon. In price, you can see how we had this nice downtrend. It bottomed out, created a failure swing, and then price slowly started to trade up into here, and then exploded up, and now it's slowly been trading back down. I think if it's going to go any higher, we're sort of at that point of support in here, and I think we could get a bounce anytime. So I'm going to be watching for that. I kind of like to see price bounce, you know, anywhere right around where I've got this line right in here. I'll borrow this here. So about the 138 level, somewhere in and around there. I think we could see the potential for a bounce if it is going to go higher. Price will stab down there, reject, and then run higher, and then we'll be looking for these highs as a target. So I'll be watching for that. I thought we were going to get it on Friday. We didn't get that bounce really on Friday at all. I'll just kind of go out to an hourly. Price came in on Thursday, dropped down, and I didn't get a sell order out, or I'm sorry, a buy order out in time on this. But price did rip up, and it just kind of took out the bodies of these candles here and then rejected and traded softer on the day. So there really wasn't much there in way of price action that excited me. But that could just be the catalyst for what's to come. We could start to see price bounce much higher from there. And I'd like to kind of see it happen sort of right in this area here. So we'll watch for that. And that's about all I've got. We'll wait and see how the markets open up for Monday's trading, and if anything changes from the initial analysis that we have, we will update you on the fly as we go. Don't forget our live trading sessions, Tuesday, London Open at 12 a.m. New York time. Wednesday, London Open, 12 a.m. New York time. Thursday, we're going to be doing a New York session at 9 a.m. New York time. And Wednesday, same time, New York Open, 9 a.m. New York time. So we've got lots of trading sessions, live trading sessions that we'll be doing this week again, and should be lots of opportunity for you. So with that, hope you guys had a great weekend, and you're ready for the week ahead of trading. And we'll catch up to you with the charts here starting Monday. We'll see you then.